I never thought I'd see the day where Shaq joined in the Kobe slander, but of course, I thought wrong. If you haven't been following, Kobe's been under fire non-stop these past few weeks. T-Mac said he would have won a chip with Shaq too, even tried to insinuate he would have been Kobe, and Gilbert Arenas tried to downplay Kobe as a sidekick. D-Wade said Pau Gasol deserved the 2010 Finals MVP over him. Jeff Teague said Kobe was an overrated defender. Then Bleacher Report ranked Kobe outside of the top 10 in their all-time top 100 list, so you would have assumed Shaq, being the apparent close friend of Kobe, would have put a stop to the nonsense, but all he did was add fuel to the fire.
What he said was absolutely true. But Kobe's not your average passenger. That's what makes him different. And, I can say this now, it doesn't really matter whose team it was, but don't ever get a twist on who was in charge. Don't ever in your life get it twisted on who was in charge. Okay? But now that we got that out the way, what he said was correct. But people respect Kobe. Like, it's just, but it's like you can have conversations, arguments, and you can have silly conversations. That's a silly conversation. Like, the man is vital to my 3 championships. T-Mac was a bad boy too, but he didn't really have enough room to operate. So I agree with what T-Mac said. Probably get a lot of flack, but I always say to myself, I think I could have got 3 in a row with T-Mac. I think I could have got 2 with Vince. Oh, I know I'll get 6 with Steph.
Wait, so let me get this straight. Shaq agrees with T-Mac, even though T-Mac is trying to downplay Kobe, yet Shaq thinks he supports Kobe. Am I getting that right?
What he said was absolutely true.
What did you just say?
What he said was absolutely true. But Kobe's not your average passenger.
Come again?
I think I could have got 3 in a row with T-Mac.
So you just heard it straight from Shaq himself. He agrees with what T-Mac said. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure Shaq was trying to be disrespectful, but it doesn't look good for him. I think he just doesn't realize how much that downplays Kobe. I've never had an issue with the idea that T-Mac could have won a ring with Shaq. After all, in Kobe's first championship with Shaq, he only averaged 15 points per game. It's totally reasonable to believe T-Mac could have won at least 1 ring. What's hard for some people to accept, though, is that by saying this, T-Mac is implying his career trajectory would have been Kobe's if he had been on the Lakers. To me, that just comes off as jealous and doesn't look great. But for Shaq, I don't think that's what he's thinking about. Here's why I believe T-Mac wouldn't have three-peated with the Lakers even if he swapped places with Kobe, just like Shaq thinks he could have. First, there are way too many variables, and these hypothetical scenarios often miss the point, especially since they try to make us forget that T-Mac never won a ring. Second, even Kobe has mentioned his mentality, his drive to hold Shaq accountable and push him to stay in shape, and how that was a major reason they kept on winning.
Like, we used to get into stuff all the time because it was like, you know, he would say, okay, Kobe's not throwing me the ball. And, you know, media would take it and run with it and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, bruh, if you were in shape, by the time I run down on a fast break and run back and then run down, you're still coming down the first time, bruh. Right? So a lot of our contention came from that.
And even though he was older, you were still confronting him. You didn't care.
Oh, I didn't care. Man,
from
listen,
day one,
bro.
From day one.
I knew for sure, Rick Fox, my teammates, they all thought I was absolutely crazy the day me and Shaq got in a fist fight. After that day, they were like, okay, Kobe, you're certifiable.
Fist fight.
Oh, yeah. He's told me that day was a big turning point for him because it was like, you know, he's generally used to talking trash and saying what he wants and nobody really stepping up and challenging him on that. And when he saw me challenge him on that, he was like, this kid's crazy. All right, I can win with that.
Kobe was literally getting in fist fights and not passing the ball to Shaq just because he wouldn't get in shape. Now ask yourself this, if T-Mac had been in Kobe's shoes, would he be able to do the same thing? My answer is no. I think T-Mac's personality would be far too passive, and as a result, we'd see a 2004 or 5 version of Shaq way sooner. So when you take these two players' mentality into the equation, there's no argument for McGrady.
It's outrageous, egregious, preposterous.
I guess I also gotta address how Shaq said he'd win 2 rings with Vince Carter. Here's where he said it.
I think I could have got 3 in a row with T-Mac. think I could have got 2 with Vince.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Now, if we're going to talk about swapping Kobe out for another player, that player has to be someone who could hold Shaq accountable, and Vince Carter just isn't that guy. Let's not forget, Vince is the same player who nearly missed a Game 7 to attend his college graduation. That alone tells you he didn't have the same obsessive, win-at-all-cost mentality Kobe had. But the even bigger concern if Vince had played with Shaq is whether he could stay healthy long enough to build something. During the Lakers' first 2 championship runs, Vince was relatively healthy, but by 2001-2, when the Lakers won their 3rd straight title, Vince played only 60 games and missed the entire playoffs because of knee surgery. So if Shaq and Vince had teamed up, their championship window would have been extremely short. But what do you think? Why did Shaq defend Team X's claims about Kobe? Tell me in the comment section below. Until next time, peace.